Hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now that's right, today we're back for another movie review and it's time for another Marvel MCU review, which is very exciting. You know, last year having absolutely no MCU movies and this year this being our third one. It's very exciting to be back talking about the MCU because it's just such a cool universe. It dominates a lot of the blockbusters today. And, you know, for the most part, they're really well-made movies. So I'm really excited to come on and talk about their brand new one, Eternals. This was maybe my most anticipated Marvel film. I know there's a lot of other cool ones coming up, like No Way Home and Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness. But I was really excited to see this one, really curious, because you could tell Marvel were taking a different approach with this one. I know Marvel have a formula that they stick to, but they are very creative inside of that formula, I think. And this is a good example. Yeah, it follows Marvel tradition, this film, but yet they've brought in a very independent director to make this movie, and they've made a much more grounded film, and they've taken their time in terms of, like, making this film look different and feel different through the cinematography and through the script and even through the acting. So this is a very interesting MCU release, maybe the most interesting one to date. So anyway, this film is directed by Chloe Zhao, who most people probably know from directing Nomadland last year. And it's the saga of the Eternals. It's a race of immortal beings who lived on Earth and shaped its history and civilization through the years. It shows them on their journey of their story, which they've been given by these bigger, greater cosmic beings. So I'm not going to get into spoilers, so I'm going to try and do this without any of that. So this film, it is the second longest Marvel film after Endgame, and I think it needed it because when you're introducing, I think it's 10 superheroes, you need time to develop all of them. And you know what? This film develops them all so well. You understand all of their intentions, and you can tell who's not going to get along with who's going to be triggered by certain things. You really understand all these characters' motivations. And I've got to give the director, Chloe Zhao, for so much praise there, because compared to something like Captain Marvel, you got one superhero to introduce in that movie, and she is not developed well at all. Here you've got 10, and they're all really well developed. All of them are super well developed. I understood, like, okay, this one got pissed off with that, this one's doing this now in his life, and you really do connect with all of them and understand where they are in their lives, where their points of view would probably be at, because there is a lot of tension in this movie between characters. And I think this is a very well done character movie. Which is why some Marvel fans probably aren't going to like this. Because they're going to go into it wanting a typical Marvel blockbuster. They're going to go in it wanting something like what we got with Shang-Chi. And why I loved Shang-Chi, I thought it was really fun. That is your standard Marvel blockbuster as, yep, we got a bad guy, we need the hero to take him down. There's going to be some fun, witty dialogue and lots of action scenes and lots of CGI. This film doesn't really go down that road. It takes its time to develop the characters. There's a lot of talking. And that's another reason why I really like this film. The script was great. The dialogue between these characters was awesome. Just watching them talk sometimes, watching some of the conversations unfold was really, really interesting, I thought. And on top of that, the acting, we'll talk about the acting now as well, because without the acting, the dialogue can sometimes come across messy. But the acting was really good here. All of the ads done a really good job. Gemma Chan, who is sort of the main character in this, is really good. She gave a much better performance than she did in Captain Marvel, because, yeah, she was in Captain Marvel, if you remember. She was one of Jude Law's followers. She was like the sniper in that film. Yeah, the characters aren't related at all, but anyway, you wouldn't know it's her really unless someone told you, like I'm telling you now, if you didn't already know. Richard Madden was really good in it. Angelina Jolie, I still can't believe they got her in a Marvel film. It's great that these big legendary actors want to do MCU films, and I heard she wanted to do it so kids love Marvel, which I think is really sweet. Selma Hayek was really good as well. Kit Harrington, for the small portion he's in it, is really cool. I really liked Kamula Namajin or something like that. He's kind of the comedic one of the group, and it's Marvel. We're gonna have that comedic one. I know some people get a bit fed up with the Marvel comedy, but I think it works. It makes the film have a bit more character to it. I thought he was really good. The child actor Leah McHugh was really good in it, really great. Brian Tyree Henry, I think is how you say his name. He was in Godzilla, the 2019 Chucky reboot. He was awesome. Oh God, there's so many characters. Laura Ridloff Ridloff, who people know as the deaf actress, she was in The Walking Dead, was fantastic. And then, of course, Barry Keoghan and Madonsuk, I think is how you say his name. Probably butchered it. They're also really good as well. Basically, the whole cast is fantastic. So, story itself, I thought it was interesting. You didn't really know where it was going until about halfway through. They sort of had a job to do, and then they realised that maybe they want to do something else. And it was sort of like getting the team back together as well, which was interesting. And it was really great to see where characters come back and what they'd been doing, because they've been on Earth for thousands of years, to see what they've been doing in their time on Earth, separated. There's a lot of jumping about in this movie. There's a lot. You know, we've got 10 characters and they've all gone to different corners of the world. So there's a lot of jumping about, and then there are also a lot of flashbacks throughout this movie. So the film does feel a bit choppy, I'll admit, and that's where some pacing issues definitely happen. The conclusion of the film I thought was really awesome. The final fight was really great. I felt the tension there, because a lot of fight scenes earlier on in the movie, the tension isn't quite there. I think because Chloe Zhao is much more of a grounded director. That's what I'm saying, as in, like, the dialogue scenes where the characters are just talking, that's when this film is at its best. The action scenes, they're good, but they don't feel as big and bold as other MCU films until the final act. The final act one really went for it, and that was really good. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about this film. I think it's a really solid film. Is it as good as we all thought it'd be? Probably not. When I heard Chloe Zhao was doing it and I saw the first trailers, I was like, this is going to be incredible. I thought it was going to be a top 5 Marvel film. It's not that. But the critics' reviews? No, it's not that bad. No, it's just not. It's a very good movie. It's probably my favourite MCU film this year. But only probably a smidge above Shang-Chi, because I did really enjoy that. That was just innocent fun. Yeah, it's the people, you know, it shows how a lot of people act with films nowadays. Some people think it's cool to like what's popular. It's always been that way. You know, people probably criticise me doing it with Doctor Who at the minute. But, you know, I think the thing is like, you know, DC had it. It was popular. People just hated it. Star Wars has had it. Every big franchise, when it's at its peak, there are those who just find it good to dislike the movie. And I'm not really sure what some people are doing with this movie, because a lot of people have been reviewing it before they've actually seen it, saying it's crap, they don't like this, they're saying it's too woke, they're trying to represent too many things like the LGBT community. And I think it's really wrong that people are doing that. These films are giving, you know, other people from, you know, the LGBT community and other cultures, like with Black Panther, they're giving other things something that represents them in the world of these superheroes, not just your straight white male. And I think it's brilliant. I don't think it's a reason to slate a movie. They're making a movie, they're writing a good story, making a good movie, and then plotting these things in over the top so that everyone can feel a part of this movie. They're not going, we need to write it around this. So I think the people going down that road is incredibly wrong. And they should just judge the film on the film. If you don't like the film, if you don't like the story, you don't like the pacing, fair enough. Not going to argue that. So the fact that people have been going into this film, reviewing it early and criticising it on things like that, I think is terribly wrong. The critics that have been doing this, because I've seen them on IMDb, I don't see how they can be doing that, how people can take these critics seriously after stuff like that. But that's my personal opinion. I'm always of the mindset, go see it, make your own mind up. And that's why I didn't comment on Eternals before. I just said I'm looking forward to it. I didn't say it looks great. I didn't say it looks bad. I was like, I'm just looking forward to it. It's a Marvel film. I saw it and I enjoyed it. And that is the end of the discussion for me. Out of 10, I'm going to give the Eternals, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very, very solid Marvel film. Not their best, not their worst. Probably falls around the middle of my Marvel ranking. Probably definitely closer to the top half. Just a smidge above Shang-Chi, I reckon. Yeah, go see this film, guys. It's a really good time. Do not listen to the critics who haven't seen it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching as always, guys. And I will see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.